Hi there. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through today of a journal I recently finished. It's um it's a really cool old book. You'll see here there's a lot of embossing on it. Really, really beautiful, beautiful old book. This book was actually published in 1887. So when I say it's an old book, it's an old book. It's 133 years old. So, and it definitely looks 133 years old. It it was in pretty sad shape when I found it, but I fell in love with those irises on the cover. They're embossed and inked. They're just beautiful. And I fell in love with the spine. It was actually from the town I live in. It was from our library. Apparently, I did a little bit of research into these books. These were a series of books, several volumes, on the history of North America. So these Parkman's Works books, apparently there are many of them on different historical topics from 1887. So it just it called out to me, even though, as you can see, I want to be very, very clear. This is a book from 1887. It's kind of sad and tattered, but I have strengthened it. So although this looks kind of loved and reloved and loved all over again, it's strong. I have reinforced it from the inside out. That's how you can see. Hold on, let me get some. Come on. Let me get that into focus. There we go. You can see here the charming little fabric print from the inside. The book was so old that literally the fabric was gone from the top and the bottom of the spine. It had just disintegrated and crumbled away. So I replaced it from the inside out with this sweet little fabric that I think complements it nicely. I didn't want to dare try and match it up. That would be impossible. First of all, I don't have any fabric from 1887. So I did what I could with what I have, and I really like how it turned out. So, and then I put a label on the spine here. Sorry, it's trying to, I'm holding it so close so you can get a good look at it. So it's having trouble focusing. So I put a label on the spine, and that way you can write maybe the years that you've journaled in it, maybe the topic, if this is a particular journal for you that you're going to use for one topic, you would be able to write whatever title you want to give to this book, or you could just call it journal. That works too. So I've put permanent ties on it. I cut them quite long, not intentionally, but I rather like that they fit around the book twice. But if that's just too much ribbon for you, this is a lot of ribbon, just trim them off. That's easy to do. Or if you don't even want ribbons at all, trim them right off at the edge, and then they're gone. So you're going to see here, first off, I've given it a hollowback spine, a hidden hollowback spine. There are 7 signatures in this book, and there are approximately 208 pages of varying sizes. This book, I really, really intended it to be a writer's journal. So there are a lot of pages that will lend themselves for you to either write in them, or perhaps you want to collage or do other things in it. I haven't over decorated myself. Anyone who knows my journals know that I can't resist putting a few things in. It's a little touch of things I love, but I did not overdo it on this journal. I really love how it turned out. And as ever with a Sunnyside journal, everything comes from a repurposed source. Otherwise, I will let you know. And in this case, this bulldog clip is new, even though it's rather rusty and divine looking. It is new. Same with the 3 bulb pins that are down the side here. Although the dangles are secondhand, the little charms, the pins themselves that are holding the charms on, they are new. Otherwise, except for the glue, all the papers have been from repurposed sources, fabrics from repurposed sources, laces from repurposed sources. I haven't done a lacy journal in a while, and I really enjoyed working on this one. All from repurposed sources, secondhand sources such as thrift stores, estate sales, antique shops, church rummage sales. If someone else owned it before I did, that meets my standard for a junk journal. If it was someone else's junk, that's a beautiful thing to go into a Sunnyside journal. So we'll take a look inside, and you'll see on the inside here that I have used for the end pages. I've actually used 2 pages out of a 1908 encyclopedia that I have. So you'll see both pages look similar, but obviously they're different because they are right out of the book. This is page 1112. This is page 354. I chose them for a specific reason. I wanted diary, and you just happen to get Charles Dickens thrown in, so that's nice. And I also wanted, hold on, let me move the 2 nanas out of the way. I wanted writing. So that's why I chose these pages to be the end papers. And although they were lovely and yellowed, I still wanted them to have some character. So I did do a little bit of inky artwork on it. Now, this is a label that I got in Happy Mail from my Crafty Crush, and I thought it looked perfect here, and I thought you may want to use it as your own ex libris. Maybe put your own name and your own dates that you used the book. Who knows? Or maybe if you're giving it as a gift and you want to put your own dedication in there, that it's there for you to use. This illustration that I have here, that I fussy cut, is from a book I have called The Girl's Own Annual, and it's from 1888. And I thought that was rather fitting, seeing as the book cover is from 1887, and this illustration is from 1888. That actually is what the lady may have, worn as she was sitting at her desk writing. In this actual book, or I guess reading this book, but now it can be written in. That's the original front page right there that I made a plate out of, just to give it a little bit of honor and a tip of the hat to it. And then on the back page, you'll see here, I made a little tuck spot out of the copyright date. So you can see right there, 1887. And I've already tucked in one of my 2 nana bookmarks in there, so you can put that bookmark wherever you like, but this is a little tuck spot. And I continued with the little theme of the little tiny gold brads and put them there as well, just for a little detail work. Well, as we go through it, there's not going to be a whole lot to say because, as I said, this is a writer's journal, so I will point out a few things here and there, but a lot of these pages are ready for you to start writing in. Many of them are tea-dyed, not all of them are. If they were already a lovely color, naturally, I left them be. I don't always tea-dye if I already like the color of the paper. So here I have created, let me find a card to show you, a little tuck spot here. So this was one of the pages, and this is something that you can do if you're creating junk journals, is just glue down one of the pages and you can turn it into a tuck spot. And then there's a cool old photo there of 2 people breaking ground. I wonder if it's for their first house or who knows what it's for. This is from a drawing book, a book on how to draw, and I thought that word was perfect for journal, balance. It's also perfect in artwork, but it's also perfect in, we find balance when we're writing out our thoughts. I put a little frill up here, a little ruffle, and I've pinned, hold on, I pinned a little charm to it. And this was a necklace that I took apart. I thought it was pretty. I was able to get lots of charms off that necklace. This is actually old children's composition paper. This is bullet journal paper. This is from a 1948 National Geographic magazine. It was an advertisement for Kodak cameras, and I liked it. A little bit of lace down the side there. It's just a page out of a little Bible. It's from the Book of Psalms. Some coffee dyed bullet journal paper. This is from an old book, the Manual of Gardening. A little flip out here. This spread here is taken from a book I have of the entire music of Handel's Messiah. It's quite a good sized, that's a long piece of music. So this is from Handel's Messiah. You'll be able to see upside down here where it says Handel's Messiah. But I've created it into a little sort of tuck area. And there's even space here if you've got, if you want to make, put your pen in there. There will be a couple of those in the book. And just a little lady there holding the spot. I made a couple of repurposed playing cards here. You can see that it's the Ace of Hearts and the Seven of Diamonds. And then on the back, I backed it with piano paper, player piano paper. And so you can write on it. And there's some pen nibs also from that 1948 National Geographic. Put a little leaf on there, that's sort of the skeletal part of a leaf. Again, I find these little crafty supplies at my thrift stores. This is out of an old butterfly book. It's just a page out of the book, and I thought it was pretty. I'm not sure what the year is, but it's old. It came in this old beat up box. It's pretty cool. And another tuck spot here with some sewing. I've left the threads dangly, so if you don't like the threads, trim them off. They're already knotted. Here's another little tuck spot if you want to put your pen in there. And then you've always got a pen in your journal. Here's another flip out area, and I've sewn on a Rolodex card. And just a little rusty paper clip and some tea-dyed stationery. Most of the lace I've also sewn on to make sure it's on there good and strong. There are a couple of pieces of lace that I didn't trust it, and I've glued it on. This is actually a photo, a copy of a photo of my great Uncle Percy's Sunday school teacher. Her name was Helen Shaver, and she rather liked him. He had a lot of bookmarks and that Sunday school teachers would give to their top students, and so there were a lot of things for Uncle Percy that have her signature on it. And then there was this little faded photo of her, and it had her name written on the back. So that's a scan. I have the original. These old sepia toned photos are actually fussy cut out of books, and I can't recall. This is either the biography of Beatrix Potter, or else it's the biography of Laura Ingalls Wilder. I can't recall. Oh, it could be the biography of Edith Holden. It's one of those three. All of those ladies have lovely biographies. And for the time being, I've just put in a little bridge score sheet into the bulldog clip, but that obviously can be moved wherever you want, and so can this. Another little frilly ruffle with a little charm pinned to it. Oh, I clipped it to the back. If you see scrapbook paper in my journals, I've always found them at my thrift store. I do have some scrapbook paper that has been gifted to me, so I enjoy using that. But I don't go to stores and buy scrapbook paper from big box craft stores, and I don't print them off. I don't use digital prints. Not that there's anything wrong with it. My own personal challenge is that my junk journals are made from junk. Some more old lace. Where is it here? This lace had a funny edge to it that wasn't fitting in with the profile of these pages. So I trimmed it off, but I didn't want to throw it out. So let me show you. I tied it on to a rusty paper clip, and I'll show you that when we get there. So again, not wanting to waste anything. Even the trim off the lace got put back into the book. Here's just a little collaging I felt like doing on this page. This is from a reprint of a Sears Roebuck catalog for a children's rocking chair, and then a little stamp and some rusty looking cello tape. This is out of a guest book. I love putting those into centers of signatures. This is from a different encyclopedia book that I have. They used to print volumes, like a single volume of what they called an encyclopedia, and it was very much like a dictionary. It would just give you a paragraph of what each topic was, and I have a couple of them. And this one I put in simply as a memorial for this book was repurposed in 2020. So a little tip of the hat to the bubonic plague, since we're all dealing with our own plague right now. So that's kind of cheeky, but I thought, you know what, a little appropriate. Here's another tip out, and then it tips out again. So this is a package of, these are the cards that go on a table, like at a wedding or that, and you write the person's name on it. I found a whole package of those thrifting one day. So it just makes sort of a double tip out there. And then this envelope was sewed right into the signature. I undid the seams. I took a knife and carefully opened that seam up so that I could sew it in, and then I glued the seam closed again. This is a vintage bingo calling disc tag, you know, when you're playing bingo. So that's holding this closed, and you can just slide it underneath when you want to close that envelope again. And then inside I've just put a little postcard of a little girl feeding the swans. Now this isn't actually old, it's a reproduction, but I did find the book of reproduction postcards at my thrift store. I have some very good thrift stores in my town. I'm very, very lucky. I like when there's all different sizes to the papers. Page out of Sears Roebuck catalog. That is 1908. Here's another page out of that textbook on how to draw. And here I've created another sort of a tuck spot spread from another pages out of Handel's Messiah. And I've just tucked a few things in it for you, just some journaling cards that I created. This is from a children's book. And then, of course, an index card. I love index cards, so I tucked that in there. There's another pocket right here. And then here I've put in, also from that children's book, you can journal on the back. Just a little lace doily. You can do what you like with that. And another a to-do list that's been tea-dyed. So I put those there. You can put them where you like. Over here, I did a little bit, just a tiny little bit of collaging. That little ticket was in some happy mail I received a few weeks ago. And then a little word snippet that says a special message. And then here's another altered playing card. And since this book originally was the history of North America, I used a map, and you can sort of see North America up there, although it is the 8 of clubs that it originally was. And then I put some paper on the back, and it was from a game. I think it was called Word Thief. So that's there. And then a tea-dyed music flashcard. I put that in there just to get you started. Again, I find these funny little things here and there, so I'm not even sure where this rather, she almost looks like a spy, this lady. Tilly. This is just an old vintage card, but the artwork on the old cards are just so beautiful. So I've tucked it in there. You can do with it as you wish. This really is an old vintage card, as you can tell by the glue that has seen better days. Just be mindful of the glue. You don't want any episodes of Seinfeld happening. More bullet journal paper. Another little ruffle here, and there's another little charm just sort of dangling off the edge with a bullet, a bulb pin, a little rusty bulb pin, and some more little lace all along the edges. This is just a fussy cut, not a hard one. These edges were real easy, that I just put onto some cardstock so that you can use it as a journaling card. Here's a rusty paper clip, and this is the one that has the leftover lace that I trimmed off the center lace, and it's on that rusty paper clip. Some numbered journal ledger paper. I got this paper from a funny little antique barn out in Prince Edward County, Ontario. This is a page out of an old book, but I figured there was lots of room for journaling on it, so it needed to go back into a journal. And then this is a little tuck spot. It's from a book, but that I cut apart. But it's, I thought it was interesting because that's a woman leading that horse with the buggy, and she's looking very proud of her job. So I just created a little card. This is the same paper that you'll see on the border of the front page and on the border of the copyright date. So it all sort of ties it all together. And then again, the last page where you have writing here. And as ever, a Tune In as bookmark always goes into one of my journals. And I just tucked it here for this time. There we go. So that's it. That is Parkman's works. I believe it's the history of North America. France and England in North America, pardon me. A series of historical narratives. So that's what I mean. Apparently there were many, many books in this series, and this was just one of them. Now the text block just really wasn't worth reusing. It was 130-year-old paper, and I saved what I could, and at least we got that. I'm happy. I'm always happy when at least I can get the copyright date and put it back into the book so that the new owner actually knows that this book is 133 years old. I just love that instead of, going to the paper recycling or going into a burn pile, it's going to have a whole new life again. And like I said, please be aware, this is a 133-year-old book. She looks her age, but she's tough as nails and strong because I've reinforced her from the inside out. So these shoulders that were quite threadbare actually now have 2 layers of fabric and a layer of paper inside. So she really should last another 100 years before she needs another facelift. So thank you for joining me and watching through this flip through there. Let's do that. That always looks pretty. Um, this book will be available in my Etsy shop soon. I still have to set up the page for it, so I will be doing that quite soon. So keep your eye out and head over if you think you might be interested in this really old book that now has a new life. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.